Please be advised that everything in my video is purely for entertainment purposes. These are purely my thoughts and opinions and are subjective. I must advise you to please do your own research. All media users found on the public domain and are fair use and fair dealings. Hiya guys, I hope you're all doing well. So I've been umming and ahhing about doing this video today just because of the subject which it's about, but I've decided because it's not a current thing, this hasn't just happened to the couple, and the fact that Meghan has actually, the reason why we've all found out about it and it's currently worldwide news is because Meghan has written an article herself to the New York Times regarding it. So this is where I feel that I am able to talk about this particular subject. So I hope I don't upset anyone. That is never my intention, but obviously it is to do with miscarriages, so there could be some things that I say that might be distressing to some of you. So just a day before Thanksgiving, and now after all of the drama, which was the presidential election, has calmed down, we don't seem to have marches and riots going on anymore, and obviously the worldwide bug, we now have news of vaccines. So the news has pretty much gone back to, well, not gone back to, but it has allowed for other topics to reach headlines. Today, sadly, the headline is to do with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex reportedly having a miscarriage. This reportedly happened back in July, and due to the experience that the Duchess has been through, Meghan decided that she wanted to write an article about it. My experience of miscarriages is that it is an upsetting loss that more often than not never actually leaves you. Friends of the Duchess have disclosed that she chose to do this and to share her experience because she feels that the subject is taboo, and it's also to help break the solitary cycle of mourning that women often find themselves in and their partners. But I beg to differ with this. In the UK especially, we now have more counselling, more options in places, more help and support for people that have experienced all forms of child loss than ever before. So I'm unsure if it's slightly different in America, why Meghan would actually say that. I've had friends, family and work colleagues that have gone through this terrible experience themselves. There's quite a number of people that are sharing their stories on social media on the kind of the back foot of this story being released. Sadly, it is a lot more common than what some people do realise, and the long-term effects aren't necessarily mental, they can be physical, for which some of us actually never recover. I remember a work colleague years ago that he and his wife had been trying for a baby for a very long time, and he came into work and he was over the moon to announce that his wife was pregnant, and everyone in the office, I think it was like a Thursday, we all celebrated. The boss went out and got some champagne and we all kind of like pre-toasted the baby's head and everything. Then we got a phone call on the Friday, literally a day later, and he was off work for the week, and basically his wife had lost the baby a day after him announcing it to friends and family and work colleagues. He came back to work a week later, and the grief and upset that you could see on his face, words don't even cover it. I've also had someone very close to me that has also gone through this at 7 months. So the traumatic experience that she went through and is still going through will haunt her and her partner forever. So I am not taking this subject lightly. I don't want anyone to think that I am trying to attack Meghan and Harry in any way, because this truly is a subject that does affect many of us. Meghan isn't the first royal to speak out about this. Zara Phillips, actually, I have a clip here of where she spoke about hers and Mike's losses that they experienced when they were trying for their children.
It's very different for us because we're carrying the child, but for guys, I guess it's kind of that helpless feeling, which, you know, must be incredibly high, you know, and horrible for them. But so, you know, at the end of the day, they've still lost a child too, so being helpless is horrible, isn't it, for anyone. So, you know, it's been a horrible road, but you know, it's actually now we've come out the end of it, and you know, hopefully it makes you a stronger family.
Watching that short clip of Zara, you can still see the pain etched on her face and in her voice, but I like the fact that she obviously, you know, does talk about the fact that how much it really affected her husband. Zara obviously makes a very good point of bringing up the fact that the fathers do often suffer in this as well. Now, Meghan has chosen to tell her story in a different way. I will read it out to you, a section of it here. If you haven't read it, it is available online with the New York Times. It was a July morning that began as ordinarily as any other day. Make breakfast, feed the dogs, take vitamins, find that missing sock, pick up the rogue crayon that rolled under the table, throw my hair into a ponytail before getting my son from his crib. After changing his diaper, I felt a sharp cramp. I dropped to the floor with him in my arms, humming a lullaby to keep us both calm. The cheerful tune a stark contrast to my sense that something was not right. I knew as I clutched my firstborn child that I was losing my second. Hours later, I lay in a hospital bed, holding my husband's hand. I felt the clamminess of his palm and kissed his knuckles, wet from both our tears. Staring at the cold, white walls, my eyes glazed over. I tried to imagine how we'd heal. I'm not downplaying the emotions that Harry and Meghan felt, but I couldn't help but feel that this was a bit of a performance piece. And to be honest with you, it could have been torn out of the pages of Finding Freedom. It's the exact same style of writing. It was almost like the melodramatic build-up to the storyline which was happening. It was like reading a Mills and Boon book or Danielle Steele or something like that. And there's just something about it that's just... It's, you know, I watched Zara and it absolutely kills me. As I said, there's been experiences in my life, you know, and I've seen the Heartbreak and Friends, but Meghan talking about it like the way that she is, I don't know, the whole story, just there's something in my gut that's telling me that it doesn't quite add up. And she goes on to talk about being in South Africa when she was asked if she was okay, and she did bring it back to that, you know, and she asked Harry, are you okay? And it was obviously a very controversial thing that came out with Meghan going, nobody asked if I'm okay. So again, the whole thing was all about, well, it was just drawing the light onto Meghan. Is she okay? I do find it odd that we didn't know of Meghan's second pregnancy, just because of how quickly she released the news when it was a matter of weeks with the pregnancy with Archie. So it was very odd that obviously we didn't hear anything down the grapevine. She said that this happened in July, and I don't know if you guys remember, but July was the month when Harry and Meghan, after moving to Tyler Perry's, and then they started popping up. July, they were incredibly active on Zoom calls, to the point they were in the newspapers every single day. It was, if they weren't on Zoom calls, it was articles being released about them, or they're working on various projects. And to me, if they went through this then, they don't have to work. I've got friends that have had to go back to work pretty much straight away. You know, it's that whole thing, they don't have to work. Surely, if it was that devastating like Meghan is describing, with her eyes glazing over, not knowing how they'd ever heal again, the last thing that you would be doing throughout that month is doing lots of Zoom calls and getting involved with various projects. You know, you'd have time out. Whether it's just a sugary writing, the way that Meghan has written it out, maybe this is just Meghan's style of writing. Maybe this is just the way that Meghan does actually express her feelings and emotions. We are seeing a pattern here, but we're also seeing that's exactly how Finding Freedom was written. Meghan's former friend Chrissy Teigen and John Legend recently went through a very, very open child loss story, where sadly they lost the baby at 4 months into her pregnancy. She was very, very open about it. It was actually I don't know, some people say that you shouldn't share as much as what she did, but I think she was very brave. There were some photographs that I personally never would have wanted of myself being put out for the world, but you know, she's using her platform that she thought at the time, you know, was really going to help people accept the fact that this does happen to a lot of people. But one of the things that was definitely noted from it was the outpouring of support that Chrissy and John did receive. You know, it resonated with people all around the world. Like I said, this is a terrible thing that many of us in our lifetime do go through, some of us on multiple occasions. The sympathy that Chrissy received was well publicised in the media, and this is where I begin to question. I'm not questioning whether or not Harry and Meghan, if this story is in fact true, that's their personal business. But what I am questioning is, why release this information now? Why, for a couple who basically scream for privacy, who didn't want to release anything to do with Archie's birth announcement, when he was due, what hospital he's going to be due at, who his godparents were. They didn't want photos. She didn't want to do the posing when, as soon as, you know, Archie was born. She wanted to leave it a few days. Then there was a picture of Archie's like nose and his hand and his foot. It was just all these games, and they've always said it's privacy. They want complete and utter privacy. And they're actually having a very well documented privacy court case that is playing out in the media at the moment. Yet here she is disclosing, you know, very intricate details from it, from the experience that she and Harry had. And it does, as I said, I've got red flags all over this one. They've just got a new PR team. They are no longer selling magazines and newspapers. Interest in them in the USA and the UK has absolutely plummeted. After the Memorial Sunday stunt, I can't see that obviously did them any favours. On top of that, we've now got the hoo-ha of what's going on with Frogmore Cottage, with lots of rumours saying that they have finally been kicked out of the royal family. Then to top that off, obviously you've got all of this malarkey going on with the crown, how Charles has been painted in a very very bad light. Harry and Meghan have signed with Netflix, that obviously they are the media streaming giants that have that show on it. Plus, they have also the streaming giants that have agreed to do Diana, the musical, which obviously depicts Diana as kind of, well, bed hopping, which, you know, it's not really doing Harry's relationship with, well, his credibility with his family, and especially William, any good, or the public. Also this week we've got Catherine's first ever solo project that she's done all by herself, and it's record breaking, all to do with the under fives and the developments of them, which is called the Big Five. Plus their court case that Meghan is bringing against the Mail on Sunday seems to be falling apart at the seams. More recently we've had more information that she has actually admitted that she lied. She had actually been feeding information to the Finding Freedom authors. As I said, it just makes me wonder, why share this now with their popularity at an absolute all-time low after the presidential elections has died down. Basically, when the news is starting to get back on reporting other things, this story has popped up. As I said, with everything that's combined, it does make you question really the motives behind why release this story now. My apologies if this video has upset anyone. As you can tell, this isn't my normal cheery demeanour either. It's a very upsetting subject for myself, but I will be back. This story did take precedence over the one that I am going to be doing for you guys tomorrow. And for any of you that I've upset, I am truly sorry, but I just felt, as I said, this isn't something that's just come out in the news, and I would respect and give them their absolute privacy, and I wouldn't discuss it. But this is to do with Meghan has actually released an article talking about it in the New York Times. This is why I felt that I wanted to discuss it with you guys. So I'll be back with you guys very soon, and hopefully with a bit more of a cheerier demeanour. Take care for now. Bye.
If you like my video, please remember to like and subscribe. Please, angry typists, you will be blocked, so save your fingers the time. If you would like to buy me a coffee, please go to my About page and click the link. Love, Taz.